Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett, and we are starting the show off today talking about an event coming up in the community that you're not going to want to miss, and it also kind of revolves around your health, so some great points we're going to cover today. I'm joined now by Jennifer. Oh, I'm just not even going to try to say your last name.
That's very fair.
Oikarinen?
Oikarinen.
Oikarinen. Okay, I got it. It's Finnish, if you're wondering. That's what it is. And you are a registered dietitian and a clinical dietitian, and you work with cardiac patients over at St. Mary's Hospital.
That is correct.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
and now
it.
we're talking about the 2016 Madison Heart Walk that's going to be at the Mallards Field coming up here. So just to start off, tell our folks at home, what is this event and what is it all about?
Yes, so as you know, like you said, it's at the Mallards Ballpark. It's September 24th. All the festivities start at 8 a.m. and the actual walk will be at 9:30. And there is no registration fee, but donations are encouraged. And for all those walkers out there, a little incentive: if they do raise a minimum of $100, they do get that free T-shirt. So
got to do it for the free T-shirt, right?
Exactly. Otherwise, there's a lot of family-friendly activities and snacks going to be planned. So a lot of fun.
A fun thing to do with the whole family, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Take everybody out.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, why should people come out and walk or run?
Well, unfortunately, heart disease is still the #1 killer of Americans.
Wow.
So we really encourage people to come out and learn about those risk factors for heart disease and stroke. And as we mentioned, kind of the donations, all the funds will go to research and awareness.
Oh, that's so great. So not only, are you doing something for yourself, but you're also could be raising funds for an important cause that really, it sounds like, probably affects everybody, or
Absolutely.
at least you know somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. It touches a lot of lives. So.
Sure. Now, I know this Heart Walk is focusing on the dangers of excess sodium. So tell us a little bit more about how too much salt can be harmful. And I know that's something, we all know. We all know you're not supposed to have too much salt, but how do you really know?
Right. Well, it's really about just becoming aware.
Yeah.
And like I said, coming out and learning about those risk factors and learning more information so you do have that knowledge. Because there is evidence that links excess salt intake to the development of high blood pressure, which causes heart problems.
Right.
But it's not just heart problems, it's kidney damage, it's osteoporosis, stomach cancer, a lot of negative health outcomes can caused by it. And unfortunately, we're seeing higher blood pressure in earlier children and young adults, and when that high blood pressure is seen at an early age, it can track into adulthood and cause damage throughout one's entire life.
Sure.
So it's really important to start early.
So what are ways that you can cut out sodium if maybe you're thinking, maybe I do eat too much salt, or maybe, I think a lot of people, I'm probably guilty of this too, I don't probably even track how much sodium I take in every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the #1 thing that I always hear from my patients is, I don't add salt to my food. I don't add it in cooking, which is great. It's a wonderful start, but unfortunately, about 75% of the salt that we eat is actually in processed foods. It's in hidden sources.
That's where it gets you.
It's in restaurant foods. So #1, really make a conscious effort to eat fewer processed foods. Highly processed and packaged foods often contain those high amounts of sodium. Now we understand that fresh produce isn't always as easily accessible and available. So if you do have to eat processed foods, just making sure you're reading the food label and choosing foods that have low sodium or reduced sodium on the label. Or, making sure you're also paying attention to serving size.
Yes.
Serving size is going to be important. If half a can is 1 serving, but you're eating the full can, you're consuming twice as much sodium as listed on the label. So being careful about that as well.
So staying true to that serving size, and I feel like too, going to the supermarket now, you can find so many more options than there used to be with reduced sodium.
Absolutely.
No sodium.
Right. With this awareness and this education that we're receiving and getting from heart disease and these different events, people are becoming more aware. And as a result, food companies and our industry is trying to make those options available for people.
Absolutely. And what are some other things people should consider when they're building a heart-healthy diet?
#1, I always say fill up on fresh produce.
Yes.
The fiber, the vitamins, the nutrients are really going to be vital to a healthy diet. It's also important that you're tracking or limiting your saturated fat intake.
Okay.
Now there are some fats, such as the ones found in avocados or fish that are good for you, but the saturated fat that's in red meats, fast foods, etc., those can contribute to clogged arteries and other heart problems. So, and lastly, I always recommend cutting back on those sugary drinks.
Okay.
I know we all love our soda and juice, and sometimes even things like Gatorade, which we think, might be healthy for us.
Sure.
But really, when they're not providing any of those nutrients that our bodies need to perform well. And high blood sugar has also been linked to contributing to a lot of negative health effects.
Some awesome information. Thank you so much for being here today, Jennifer.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And be sure to check out the 2016 Madison Heart Walk coming up here in September. And Talk of the Town will be back with more right after this.